We will now install Windows 10, the first of 2 Windows 10 virtual machines. So I've already done the downloads. The link is at the top of the walkthrough page. So we can just go straight into VirtualBox Manager. We'll go to Machine and select New. Both of these are Windows 10 machines. So just to keep them separated, we'll name them 1 and 2. Select where you want to store the virtual machine once it is created. We will go ahead and select the ISO. And we want to skip the unattended installation. Then we click Next. So going to go ahead and give these Windows machines a little bit more resources. And once again, this is based on your specific host machine if you can afford to give this many resources. I'm going to go ahead and give this one 8 gigabytes of RAM and 2 CPUs. Click Next, and I want to give it 100 gigabytes of storage. Once again, we're not pre-allocating it, so if you don't, it's not going to take up the full 100. Then we'll click Next, review it, and then click Finish. Okay, then before we start it, we want to make a few settings. The first thing we'll do is go to System, we'll get rid of the floppy, we'll move the hard disk up, as well as the optical. We'll go to Audio, disable audio, and then we'll go to Network. So under Network, we want this to be internal connection, and we want this to go to LAN 1. There is no need to set the advanced settings. We'll just go with the default. So then we're ready to just select OK. And now we can start the VM. So typical Windows install, we will click Next. We will install. Accept the license terms. Select Custom. And then select New. Then Apply. Select OK. Select Next. We'll pause the video while it downloads. Okay, then we select our region, keyboard layout. We can skip the second keyboard. At this point, we're going to select I don't have internet. Then select Continue with limited setup. On the first one, we need to give it a username. I'm going with the name Philip Price. Then give it a memorable password. Be sure you're recording those passwords. You do have to give it some security questions. Make it easy in the lab, I just use the same answer for all 3 security questions. Click next. We really don't want any of these services. Click accept. Do not want Cortana. Now Windows is getting everything ready for us. We'll pause the video till we're ready to go. Okay, so once Windows opens, we want to bring up the command prompt. What we want to do really quick is just to check the IP address. And what we see, we get a 10.0.1.12, which is in that IP range that we set up the DHCP server on that particular network adapter on our firewall. So our configuration is checking out. What we want to do now is to install the guest editions. And what the guest editions allows you to do is basically so we can copy and paste between the host and the virtual machines and also get the full screen. As you see from this screen right here, the virtual machine is not taking up the entire screen. So once again, we go to Devices, select Insert Guest Edition CD. And now when we open File Explorer and we go to this PC, now we see this CD drive. We can just double click it to open. What we're going to do is run this VBox Windows Editions -AMD 64. We're going to run that as administrator. And it is going to install the guest editions for us. So once it's installed, we have to reboot. So we'll go ahead and click finish. While it's restarting, we'll pause the video. So it is restarted. We can log in. So we can help it go into full screen. We'll minimize it. And expand it out. And you see now we go into full screen mode. One other thing we want to do is we want to go to settings. Go to advanced under general, and we want to go ahead and set the shared clipboard to bidirectional and drag and drop to bidirectional. So this completes the basic setup for the Windows VM. So you can just repeat the same process for installing the second Windows VM. And in a future lesson, we will install some additional tools, including Splunk.